Anthem on the track.
Yeah. Yeah. King shit. Yeah. Yeah. Look. I'm from the city where the bums rich. Skyscrapers block the rays when the sun hits. One time coming, niggas run quick. By the time a baby walk, he got a gun grip. I was made for this. 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 I'm not a product of the cages that they raised us in. Bred to be a king, I'm not a slave to this. I was made for 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 this.
Peace, family. Welcome to another episode Underground Railroad Productions. This your host, Brother Rich. I got the pleasure of being in the studio, Batar. Brother, this is your first time on the program. Introduce yourself to the people, the viewership out there that's watching.
Oh, give onks and praise. I'm Heru Ankh Ra Samaj Sepata. They call me the Ankh Man. They call me Baba Heru. I'm now in a phase known as the Ankh Monk. I'm in my phase of the Ankh Monk because I'm having a celibate moment right about here. And so I'm focusing mainly on what I can do to continue to serve our community in ways that will uplift us as a people. Because right about now, we can see everybody's trying to drag us into the mud, and some of us are dragging ourselves into the mud. So I'm here to help us to, once again, to take the baton of our ancient ancestral legacy and move forward. Let's once again claim Maat. As you know, I've created the new 42 new covenants of Maat, and which is an ethical guide that we should live by. Of course, we still are not going to get away from our ancient 42 codes of Maat, but the fact that we've become a different people, we've gone through a lot of horrors here in Amenta, and therefore we've developed some very bad habits that we are the only one that can be self-policing about. Instead of calling people to come from outside to police us, we can police ourselves with the covenants of Maat. Because that's how we did it in the Nile Valley. We had a society without policemen because through rites of passage, young people were taught what was expected of them within the society. And even Moses, who they said came into our land, he took 10 of the 42, I think at least 7 of the 42, to create the Mosaic Decalogue, what they call the 10 Commandments. So we have some laws, and just like the Muslims have Sharia law, we need to get back to Maatian law, which is self-imposed. Instead of some folks saying from outside of you, thou shalt not, we say, I have not, I will not, I do not. So it puts the pressure on self rather than expecting somebody to do it from outside of self.
We come here today, brother. We're very honored to be in your presence. Myself, Blue Pill, Red Pill. We want some guidance. We want some advice. This is something that you don't usually see on camera. The youth or somebody coming to the elders in the community asking for guidance on camera. There's a conversation that myself, Blue Pill, Red Pill have been having lately. One in which that we're faced with the task that, you know, traditionally in the black community, we were always taught to honor the elders, honor the mother and father, listen to the elders, go to the elders for advice. But in our journey, myself, Red Pill, Blue Pill, to get where we have gotten today, we couldn't listen to the elders. To do what we've accomplished, we had to disobey some of the elders. We had to create our own way. We had to, sometimes it was a lot of chaos in our mind. Because we're thinking, are we being egotistical? Are we being dishonorable? Are we disobeying African tradition? Are we disrespecting our spiritual traditions? But we just went with that gut feeling, that intuitive feeling, and we just did it our way. And we're here today. And we want to know, Baba Heru, how can we advance what's the best way to advance as a people if we're taught to honor the elders, but the information that the elders got might have been wrong information passed down from our oppressor? So if we continue to honor our elders, in a way, we're honoring our oppressor. So it's a weird situation we're faced with, and we want some help and advice on how we and the people younger than us can move forward.
Well, I would suggest that we forget that the one who would oppress us, who would call himself our oppressor, has not really created anything but copied everything, especially from their anthropological mothers and fathers, who are the African people. We are the elders of the earth. And therefore, but what has happened is that we have abdicated our role as the elders of humanity to follow the children. And right now, the children are flying the plane. They are the controls. And that's why we seem to be headed for a crash. So the time when we begin to assert ourselves as the elders of the earth and reclaim our ancestral legacy, that would be the key that we would need. Again, it's got to be about Maat. And as you know, many times I've realized that there are many young elders. There's some young people who I am so happy to meet because they're very ancient souls. So don't be fooled because they got a young face, hardly any hair on their chin.
That was my next question, right? Okay.
The fact is that we've got some young, old men coming up, and women too, who are demanding a sort of a different energy. And I'm here to cooperate with my young elders because guess what? I learned so much from you all. I really do. And I tell people that I'll be in school until I leave this planet because we all came here to be in school. Right. You see? Right. And so I am here. Sometimes when I used to teach Comedics 101, there'd be 20 people in the room. And I would tell them, you know, you got one teacher, but I've got 20. You see? Because I always keep my eyes open and my ears open to learn. Right about now, our beloved brother, young Pharaoh and young Marcus, they're catching a little hell even from some of the elders. And I want to encourage those young brothers. And I don't care if you cuss, because when I was a policeman, I used to cuss a lot because that's what kept me from using my gun. You see? So I would just come on hard with the words in order to keep my gun in the holster. So I understand the need when you're in the street to be real hard in that way, to use words that everybody understands. The only thing that bothers me is I wish we would start using nigger and use negus. Because negus means king. It's an Ethiopian word. We should lift each other up. Even if you're acting like the NGR word, behind that there's a king. And remember this, that the king or the queen is the best of servants. The king or the queen is not one who looks down at anybody to feel themselves lifted up. It's one who serves. I remember when I was married to Queen, people would say, why she call herself queen? I said, because she is a servant of the people. And you all are young kings because you serve. Oh, look, I'm wearing your shirt, my brother. Okay? You know, check. Do you know how good it feels to know I can get my Monday color, because I wear the colors of the day. That's right. That I can get my blue of us, the divine lunar energy. From the blue. I'm in the blue from the blue. And I got the red right here. And tomorrow I'm going to be with you, brother, because tomorrow I'm going to be in red and white. Right. That's for Heru Kuhuti. Because Tuesday is ruled by the planet Mars, Martes. So therefore, red and white, you know, Heru wears the red and white, you see. On Wednesday, I'll be in something yellow for Chehuri, Mercury. Go ahead.
Can I share something?
Sure.
With you? The mic. What you're seeing and what you are witnessing right now is divine. And what you just shared, you know, it forced me to remind you that we heard your voice when we were in the womb. We were summoned by you in the womb.
Give thanks and praise.
Because you knew us in the womb. You and our mother go back. Yeah, so when we were in the womb, she was at Studio Pata, and this is called full cycle. This is how the cycle works. That it is our job and our duty and our task. There are young starseeds that hear Red Pill's voice in the womb. And 40 years from now, I'll be sitting with them and I'll be able to wear their jewelry, wear their clothing. I'll be on their spaceships. I'll be visiting their cities and their towns. You feel what I'm saying? I'll be a part of their government based off of the fact that I summoned them with my voice, with that Heru Kuti energy, and they were able to heed the words. I heard you speaking Medu Netta when I was in the womb. That's the secret. But that's one I'm willing to share with you. Facts. I remember vividly in my mind when I'm able to go back in time. There's certain songs that can trigger it. There's certain sitcoms that can trigger it. There's certain words that can trigger it. I remember the fire escape in Canal Street and all kind of other things in the early 80s. I remember the smoke that was coming up from the back of the building, you know, when you were doing what it is that you do. So you have to remember the impact that you have, that you emboss on the minds of not only your patrons, but you emboss on the mind of the unborn and unknown. This is legacy. This is talking about, and now I stand tall with your stepson, Supernova Slum. I stand tall with Queen of Four. I stand tall with Baba Heru Samaj. We're all part of a collective. We're all part of a pantheon.
This brother not only participated with calling us forth from the womb, this brother tried so hard to call us forth from the dead. When we was in the streets, dead, you know what I'm saying? This brother, my mother would come and lament, you know, to this brother about how much she needed us, you know, on the right path. And then the brother, he would see me in his neighborhood in Brooklyn, right? I have all my gold and jewelry on and acting a fool out there, and he was like, come on in, come into the temple, come home, you know what I'm saying? Let me introduce you to this information. And this is when I was like, my mind was wayward. I wasn't there, but I still made time. I used to come. I would bring friends. We would come and we would sit and we would listen. And he told me, you know, one day you would embrace this culture. One day you would be the advertisement for this culture, the same way that you are for the dead, you know, for the deaf culture that you part of. And it came full circle. You know what I'm saying? And we was able to put a smile on our mama's face. You know what I'm saying? This is a good friend of my grandfather.
Oh, yeah.
So
remember I came up to the hospital
yes,
and played my guitar.
he extended not only was instrumental with calling us forth. I saw this man put extra days on my grandfather's life because he was in ICU and he was non-responsive. He came up there and played music for him and brought him, you know what I'm saying, the coming forth, you know what I'm saying? He brought him, yeah, the opening, he brought him back, you know what I'm saying, so he could make his peace before he made that great ascension.
No, he was at the crossroads. He was at the cross. He was in ICU at the crossroads, and he was saying that he was afraid. Okay, he was saying that this is a strong man who was a patriarch who we looked up to, and he was afraid because whatever the weighing of the heart that was taking place, whatever was taking place at that moment, he needed to be atoned for whatever his experiences were, and he needed his family, he needed the immediate family to come in, and Baba Samaj went into priesthood mode, and he opened up the way for my grandfather to cross over in a way that he needed. And I will forever be grateful. I don't have to go to Kemet, or I don't have to subscribe to the doctrines of somebody who's trying to indoctrinate me with theory and, you know, the way that some of these teachers who are blessed to have this knowledge misuse it. I didn't need that. I saw it in real time. I saw it play out. I saw it and it affected me because it was a close family member. Remember, my grandfather is the reason why I'm in New York. I came back. I went and stayed with him in the nursery home in Harlem, and that's when I was exposed to Harlem in 06, 07. I was sleeping on the floor of his one-bedroom apartment inside of his nursing home on 116th. You dig what I'm saying? I would sleep on the floor, then I got a mattress, but this is where I started my journey into consciousness. We were always conscious, but I'm talking about this is when I made the conscious decision that I was going to die with this and I was going to live for this. And I went through all of the things. I remember my grandfather would repeat himself. I went through that indoctrination. You understand?
I remember that.
That was that. He was in his late 80s, so he was on repeat. But it was all jewels. It was all gems. It was all jewelry. All joyery. And he's an artist. He's an artisan, so he has this sing-song voice. He's from the Caribbean, and he had jewels in his songs, so we were able to soak all of that up. Facts. And he restored my faith in what is known as the elders. He restored my faith in getting older. Because I'm from the generation that we want to die young on some James Dean. You understand? We want to die young looking good. And that's how you become immortalized. I know people who died at 19 and they're stars in the sky. They got immortalized. They didn't have to go through their whole phase. At that phase at 19, they were changing the way of life around them. But they never really got out to evolve into the supernovas that they're twinkling stars, but they're not supernovas at this point because they didn't really ascend. He and also Dr. Ben, who I was exposed to at the Oberian Dempsey Center upon my entry into Harlem in 06, thanks to the Novas, Nova Felder and the Elder Felder, and I was exposed to Jack Felder and other elders, and that's what gave me some life. That's what gave me some life, because my indoctrination as to your purpose as elders, what you gave to us, I was in victimhood mode. What did they do for me? I was arrogant. But I was in pain because of the simple fact that I let my elders down as the youth. There were things that we didn't carry the weight. You understand? That we didn't fulfill our task. So in order to deflect, we were middle fingering some of our elders only because in the subconscious, we let you down. But we're here now and it's all peace. And I understand if there's even shortcomings. You understand? If there's even certain things that have not been accomplished, I'm coming to peace with knowing that it can be accomplished, and that's why we're here to accomplish it. And for those olders, not elders, those olders who are out there making it bad for the elders, okay, and they are not doing what it is that you are doing, which is keeping that youthful spirit, playing the role of counsel, continuously being able to innovate and inspire and things of that nature, and you're not bitter towards those who have that energy and we're coming up as if we're going to take your place or we pose threats.
Please.
No. But this is what we're facing right now.
Take over.
Young Pharaoh and young Marcus are they're experiencing a form of molestation. There's sexual molestation, then there's the repression of intelligence that come from the youth. There's energy molestation. People are in it, they'll molest you in ways where they try to stop your growth and development. They'll molest you and traumatize you in ways to stop your flower from blossoming. I'm telling you, I've seen it.
Exactly what you're talking about.
So they'll traumatize you and they'll stifle you right in that phase and stick you right there. We've seen it. We see it in a rap game. We see it in sports. We see it play out in politics. We see it in the culture, and we also see it in our community. So I honor you. Hold on. I don't want to go too far.
No, man.
Yeah, that you want to say something, Blue?
I thought you was gonna say
Yeah. That leads right into my next question, and I guess it's kind of for all y'all, specifically Baba Heru. There's this thing. Red was talking about stagnating the growth of the youth. There's this thing that causes kind of a lot of friction between the way the elders think and the way the youth think, where the elders feel as though they lean more towards the side of being initiated into a system or belonging to an organization. Now, those that are younger and belong to the internet generation, we feel as though that's more of a slave culture. That's a culture in which there's one person at the top and the people underneath that person can go but so far. So we feel as though if we belong to the Nation of Islam, we wouldn't have this platform. If we belong to, let's say, the Nuwabians, we wouldn't have this platform. If we belong to Jehovah's Witness or whatever organization is out there, we wouldn't have this platform right now because one of the elders would have said, hold up, little Nagoose, stop right there. You gotta go through him, her. But we like right now, we like, nah, fuck that. We gonna do what we do. We like rebels. We moving how we want to move. So we not going for the initiation. We not going for the organizations. Maybe we gotta meet somewhere in the middle. Maybe that's too much of a rebellious mind state. Where can we meet in the middle to get as much progress as possible, brother?
Well, one of my ways of doing it for my young brothers and sisters is that I would teach them the little I know, and I would chase them away. And I would remind them, hey, grow your own wings. Form a synthesis of the knowledge and go and teach it, pass it on. Because many of us, we get tripped out wanting to, our egos, having people put us on a pedestal. Whenever I did the orientation for Comedics 101, I would tell all those who came for the orientation before they sign up, don't try to put me on a pedestal, because if you do, I'm going to willfully disappoint you. Yes. And I tell them that because I want to see young falcons grow their own wings. I'm a falcon. And I'll tell you one thing about falcons. Falcons are like lions. A lion will chase its cub out of its den. The falcon does the same thing. The falcon will take up its baby falcon and throw him out. You will learn to fly. And if you broke a wing, you'll go down, pick him up, bring him back, nurse him, and push him out again. You see, I know one thing, cosmically, this age is not going to support any singular messiahship. Messiahship has got to be collective in this age. We need all of us, the young ones, the middle ones, the elders, we all got to come together and rock this resurrection, you see. And I believe the more, the merrier. People say, well, Baba Heru, aren't you afraid that the people who you taught are going to take your crown? I said, they got their own crown. I ain't scared. You see, that's what happened. A lot of us are scared. We think there's not enough to go around, but man, hey, there are that lack and it bothers me. It bothers me. Yeah, and there's so much. There's abundance for everyone. And you see, the thing is this, that the platform that you have, some people will gravitate to it. There are some that will gravitate to Sarnetta. There's some who will gravitate to Joel Benjamin. The thing is, why worry about who gravitates to who? It's enough for everyone. You see? Precisely. And I believe that, and I really like to see many falcons in the air, taking the message of our prosurrection, because we are actually moving forward. We're not just waiting to wake up. We are waking up. And you brothers, you young brothers, you all really inspire me, man. You got me staying up now. My son got me this iPad over there. It's 17 inches.
Big boy.
It's a big one. You guys got me up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning when I should be sleeping.
Siri.
Because
YouTube, Siri, YouTube. Look, you got Siri on deck.
Because you all are really, I'm so inspired. Because I used to be very worried because there was a whole generation that we lost, to the gangster nonsense and whatnot. And to see you young brothers coming, being so serious about getting the information out there for everyone, using, I call it, the name for what we call the internet is the NTR, which are the consonants that make up the word for the divine in our language. Mm-hmm. So I call it the internet. You see, that's right, internet. Some say nature, but I say internet.
Hold on, Siri. Internet. You were saying, look. You were saying internet.
Yeah, they don't understand this ancient language. And hey, I would say this. To those who say that this language has not been interpreted, I would say some of it has. And I would say there is enough that we know about to go and run with it. People have created empires with much less than what our ancestors have left us. So I'm going to say, I'll say especially to that beautiful young king, young pharaoh, my brother, they're coming at you hard. I tell you this, it's on you now to bring all the tools that you have to teach the art of meditation, so that we will have a phalanx of young brothers and sisters going into meditation and accessing the knowledge, because you know darn well, my brother, you teach this, that it's in our DNA. And you know, and a lot of us, let's understand that the Metuneter, as they called it, the Metuneter, was not for everyone. You had to be initiated, and that's the reason why when you say it has not been interpreted, because some of it was not for the profane, was not for just the outside, you know. What we did, we used to teach the people in the village by pantomime. The brothers and sisters in the temple would get on rafts out on the river, and everybody in the village would come on the river's edge, and they would play out the ancient myths, the ancient stories, so that those who didn't know how to read still got the information. You see, and that's what we got to get back to, because
that would be akin to music videos,
precisely,
and festivals and performances.
Yeah, because you know the hip hop, they brought back the graffiti because they remembered putting stuff on walls.
So we were on the banks of the train station platform,
right?
And
You need the mic, right?
we were on the banks of the train station platform, and we were able to see the priesthood were putting the Medunetta, or the hieroglyphics, or the glyphs, the symbols, on moving trains, which woke up DNA and spoke to us like emojis speak to people these days. It was speaking to us and hyperdimensional. You can never underplay. Yeah, moving.
Let me hear from you.
Yeah, they were hyperdimensional because they were moving walls. They were motion pictures in motion.
Precisely.
So these things played out like movies or films in my mind. I'm telling you, I honestly remember as a child, I used to always be on the train having flashbacks. In particular, over the bridge, there was an installation that they set up on the D train line where you go from DeKalb over the bridge into Grand Street, and the pictures were arranged in a way in which they were separated, I think, by columns. So when you move through the train, it appears that everything is moving with motion. So even if I'm sitting still, I'm in the picture. I'm moving with it. It's engaging my mind, and I'm there. And then as a result, I used to have flashbacks of, like, I would only see my feet. I wouldn't see my whole person, but I would see myself in settings from one of my past lives. There was like a desert type of setting. It could have been Kemet very well. You know what I'm saying? But these are the things that reminded me of times of antiquity. They tapped into something. They brought something to life. You know what I'm saying? And these are these brothers using their majestic artistry. You know, they're like engineers and architects. Like, how can you manage this? And you understand, this is all under the threat and duress of being arrested by the police. That our brothers went out there and made art installations that if anywhere else on the planet, right, they will be charging you $20,000. You know what I'm saying? To take one of these things home, and you will have to be paying all sorts of exorbitant fees to come in there and look at it and being all awed. But since we made it, since it came from us, the shit is devalued and it's now looked upon for what it is. I keep telling y'all, all right, when you're dealing with the liberal arts, hip hop, in particular freestyling, is the highest form of masonry because it qualifies all seven liberal arts at once. The quadrium and the trivium are all qualified in the art of freestyling. Okay, the mathematics, the arithmetic, the rhetoric, the logic, all of it is there. And these brothers are outside of the box because they're pulling from free form. They're pulling from the void of the universe, right? And they're using metaphor to merge four worlds in real time. So hip hop don't get the credit that it deserves. It's going to take 20, 30, 40, 50 years till all of the pioneers are gone. And then the Smithsonian is going to come out, just like they have already come out, you know what I'm saying, and say, yo, this is the most majestic form of artistry that these Negroes have yet to come up with. Because it was the merging. It pulled all components together. Shout out to our brother Black Dot, you know what I'm saying, for his decoding of the hip-hop, where he spoke about all of the comedic principles that you can find, you know what I'm saying, with the 5 elements, you know. So I definitely wanted to tap, you know what I'm saying, into that frequency because I travel the country, you know, and everywhere that I go, one of the main things of everywhere is the artistry on the wall now. These are mainstays. In Wynwood and Miami, it's called a cultural Europeans involved now, and they got Asians, and they got lighter Hispanic folk. So it's a cultural revival in these places. You know what I'm saying? This is the crown jewel of the art world. Let's go look at these walls. In LA, yeah, and all of the art walks and popping up all around the country. So they got ways of valuing what it is that we do while leaving us outside of the party. We locked outside of our own platinum party.
Yeah, look,
this shit crazy.
Even to bring it up to date, and we're gonna get back. There is a treasure chest of wealth on the Underground Railroad. Meaning even the young men who are natural acrobats, the dancers on the subway train station, the young teenagers who are able to defy gravity and balance themselves on a pole on a crowded train with multiple in motion with people all around them that they don't know. They're strangers to these people. I'm talking about, I've seen them do acrobatic backflips on how could you backflip on a crowded train?
No.
What's going on? While it's moving in one space. If they were European descent, or if they were of an Asian descent, most notably Japanese, and they took that to a stage in Vegas, if they were able to take that on a global stage in a competition, they would have if they had people of another nationality doing that in a train station, they would be getting researched by the Smithsonian Institute. Spielberg would be down there with motion capturing cameras. All right? These young men they're going to get cloned. They're going to copy that. MTV is going to hire Ashton Kutcher, okay, or Zuri from goddamn Nickelodeon. She's going to host one of the shows in 5 years, and they're going to have a sitcom or something about these damn children in the subway. Or it's going to be an aspect of America's Got Talent 20th season. They're going to take it because these children are demonstrating. And I'm watching the culture vultures begin to put them in their little box. They're beginning to capture them. One of them is going to sign a check for one of their teams. Peanuts. They're going to lock them in on contract, and they're going to own that force. It is up to our elders, the eldership of hip hop, the pioneers, the curators. When did you give up the keys to the goddamn building? To a Goldstein? When did you give up the keys to the building to somebody that has nothing to do? You didn't even give it up to your Borican or your Arawak or your Spanish counterparts who helped usher in this era, especially in the realm of breakdancing. So yeah, we have to be able to, and I'm sorry. And this is just a word of advice to my brothers and sisters that are in a train station. A DVD, or rather the new business cards with the QR code on it, or a jump drive. If somebody gives you a donation of $5 and more, give them memorabilia. This is a souvenir tourist town. You are legends. You are why they're here. They're here to see you, but they're scared of you, and they don't value you because you're not showing value that you have in your own self. Get men or get people with GoPro cameras and 8K cameras, shoot that shit in slow motion, slow it down, but on higher level. Get a fucking drone and fly it on the train. Take this thing to get the 360 cameras. Take this thing where it needs to go, but in your own hands. Don't rely on the culture vultures to give you that cloth, because they're gonna do what they did to everything else.
So I got one more question to close it out. Definitely appreciate the conversation with the elder Baba Heru. Like I said, it's my first time interviewing him, and to close it out, I need a remedy, an ancient remedy. You know what I was about to say? It's funny. I was about to say an ancient remedy for a modern problem, but this problem appears to be ancient as well. I hear, and what I'm referring to is, I hear you talk about, we should never worry because, the universe is abundant. We talked about scarcity. Red Pill mentioned the word lack. All of these words make me think about one word in particular, and that's competition. the elders look at the youth as competition, so there's conspiracy theories. Farrakhan knocked off Malcolm X to get what he had to get. Jesse Jackson knocked off this Dr. Martin Luther King. We always hearing about somebody knocking off somebody to get to where they got to get, or to remain in a certain position to take their spot. We encounter it every day where, oh, this person's a lecturer. I can't. I could get along with everybody except for the person that does what I do because I'm competitive against that person, and that person reminds me of who I want to be. So if I walk in the room and I tell a person, I just bought a home, $100,000, it might make a person feel bad about themselves. It's not even that they hate me per se, but just to hear another person doing something great tends to make somebody else feel bad about themselves. Why didn't I do that? Why? Especially if the closer you are to that person, it's funny. Fact. The closer you are to that person, the worse you feel, whether it's a relative, a family, a friend, or a mate, or whatever. All the knowledge you got, my brother, this is a huge problem. It's been a problem since what they call the Jesus Christ narrative. They can only worship you if you're dead.
The Asarian myth.
Because once you dead, they'll say, oh, everything good about you, but while you alive, they ain't saying nothing about you good. You can't get that while you're alive. You got to be dead. You got to be dead.
Well,
so talk to me about how can we get over this problem that seemed to have haunt humanity for thousands and thousands of years, my brother?
Well, first of all, we've developed some habits based upon a book that we all revere, that we have been taught to revere from childhood. Inside this book, there are stories about people stealing other people's birthright. Now, when you take somebody's birthright, when you take something that belongs to someone else, that's part of the problem. We also have been brought up in this culture of total competition instead of cooperation, and that's part of the problem. We fight each other because we want to be the grand booba. We are disobedient to the cosmic law, to the cosmic order. The cosmic order is demanding that we move away from belief and embrace knowledge. And the time has come that we've got to put down these books that we've been given by those who have enslaved us, because they have verses in it like slave, obey your master. And we must begin to cooperate with each other. And that's the reason why. Heru, can you bring me one of the 42 covenants of Maat, please, so I can share some of those covenants with our brothers and sisters. Heru? Yes, bring me one of the 42 covenants of Maat. I feel that, pass me my glasses there, my brother. Hold these up, show that, so that the people in the audience can see. Notice that on either end, this is part of our solution. These 42 new covenants of Maat dealing with issues that we are confronted with today. And let me see. There are some here that I think we can, where is number? Not do I indulge in self-hate, self-deprecation, or music whose lyrics promote violence and denigrate our women. Not do I touch the body temple of a woman without her conscious consent or permission. Not do I rape physically, mentally, or spiritually the body, mind, or spirit of any woman, man, or child. Not do I engage in any sexual practice with man or woman which offends the elementary laws of hygiene. Not do I, as a man, waste the procreative power of my life essence, my sperm, through sexual excess, or I, as a woman, use abortions as a mean of birth control. Not do I join any group which requires hazing or harmful initiations that cause injury or shame to another human being. Not do I tolerate institutional racism, poverty, stress, and hopelessness, which are the main reasons for legal and illegal drug addiction, mental illness, suicides, and homicides. Not do I run and hide from injustice done to an African by bullies who terrorize. Nor do I retain silence as institutions retalionize and felonize our youth. Not do I protect by my silence those who steal from or do violence to each other in my community. Let me get down here to, not do I volunteer. Now, that's why I'm so glad to be wearing the things that you brothers make. because we have volunteered to be branded again, wearing the names of people who don't look like us, who don't care for us. And we spend big money, I think over $1 trillion last year, walking around being branded again on our feet, chest, and behind. So it says, not do I volunteer my body temple as a billboard to be branded again by historical oppressors. Nor do I fail to support and give historical, cultural, and spiritual guidance to the children I've birthed. Nor do I fail to support, instruct, and protect the children of my community. Nor do I fail to teach the youth of my community to learn, to live, uphold, and practice these sacred Maat covenants. Nor do I fail to support with my economic power farmers, gardeners, health practitioners, artists, entrepreneurs, builders, craftswomen, and craftsmen of my community. Not do I feed with my economic power or tithes the treasury of racist businesses or fundamentalist misogynistic religions. Not do I, as an elder or counselor, now this is a hot one here, take advantage of the spiritual, mental, or sexual vulnerability of those I guide or counsel. I know that is a real hot one right there, right?
It's a very hot one.
Because we know that we've had rumors some of our elders are messing with the young boys and girls, you see, and giving them pain that doesn't go away even in their old age. They are suffering because of how they've been violated. So once I say again, the pyramids, when we look at it, we must realize they were built through what? Cooperation, not competition. We in this culture, we compete for everything. That's why I never went to their colleges, because I wanted to study what I wanted to study. Now I teach PhDs and people with triple master's degrees about our legacy, because they don't touch that. The PhDs are pissed off because they went to the heights of this educational system and know not a darn thing. They come in here, do you know what it is? No. Have you ever heard of Maat? No. Have you ever had of Ancestral and Heru? No. I mean, it's terrible what's happening. And we call ourselves educated, and we piss each other.
They know about Socrates.
Oh, yeah, and Thucydides, and this, and and Tristus Magus. And we try to impress people with what they have fed to us, and we regurgitate and give it back to them, and we say, yeah, you educated us. And whenever I've lectured in colleges or universities, they always ask me, where did you go to school? I said, I graduated from the Per-Ankh 6,000 years ago at the Temple of Menepher, now called Memphis, in the Nile Valley. And they always look at me like I landed, and yeah, I just landed. That's why I say, I'll leave this for the young folks, and I say, the Ankh man is here. That should be plain to see. Came down on Starship Potolo to New York City. My cosmic star mother is Ta'urthet Heru. My cosmic solar father Asara Atemu. I transform myself as Bes Kepera. Rose up like a hill in the name of Ptah. The architect of heaven who fashioned the stars. I fought to pep the pink dragon on the plains of Mars. I dropped comedic science behind the prison bars. I'm the Ankh man. Hotel.
Okay. Leave your contact info.
All right now.
How can they get it? Brother, how can they get in touch with you, man? Leave your information.
All right.
That's what's up.
You can check me out. People say you're too available. Well, I am, because I'm here for our sisters and brothers, those who are not afraid to question an elder, because I'm looking to learn from you too, young people. And so you can contact me at the studio 212-343-9706. You can also go to the website studioofptah.com. You can send me an email. Studio of Ptah, that's P-T-A-H. Studio, S-T-U-D-I-O, of Ptah, P-T-A-H.com. And you can, my email is info@soptah.com. So I want to thank you so much, Brother Rich. It's an honor to meet you, and I want to see you rocking something that I made from my own hands. Dr. Ben got something from me in 1980. Dr. John Hendrik Clark, Ivan Van Sertimer, Almanum Sajan, Charshi McIntyre, Adelaide Sanford, so many. Sonny Ababudike Carson got the Ankh from me.
Some of these new guys down.
Oh, definitely. So the time has come for all of us to rock the sign of life, because they're trying to rain death down on us. So we must lift up this word for life. People say, that's a pagan and heathen symbol. I said, well, our ancestors worshiped the Most High in the villages and in the countryside. The village is known in the Greek as paganos. The countryside is known as the heaths, the heathers. So our ancestors worshiped the Most High under the canopy of heaven, under the stars of Nut, the Divine Mother. And let me say this. I want to say to my 5% brothers, I know that you are gods and you say the woman's is earth, but I want to tell you that our ancestors said that no, woman is heaven. And we love to go to heaven, don't we, brothers? All right. All right. So her name is Nut. And from Nut, we get the word Nuit or night, you see, because that's when the stars come out, you see. That's right. And, you know, on the temple walls, you see Geb, the father of the earth, with an erect organ at his navel, looking at Nut, okay? And Shu, the divine principle of the wind, is right between them, you know, because, you know, it takes breath to push seed. That's the reason why you start breathing hard when you are getting hot, right?
Well, and it's in the breath.
Precisely.
It's in the breath work that Blue teaches about, that you're able to stay connected to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me just, before I go, I just want to give the people one hesi. They call it mantra in India. And I just want to hesi the names of the divine forces of the city that has inspired me, the city of Menefer, known as Memphis, where Ptah was adored. Ptah, Sekhmet, and Neferatum. And then later, Imhotep, who was both a healer and an architect, was enshrined as a son of Ptah and Sekhmet. Sekhmet, Sekhmet, Neferatum, 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 Sekhmet, Sekhmet, Neferatum. Tuau and Tara. Give praises and thanks to the divine mother and father of all creation. Not just the father God, where is his wife? In our legacy, they're both the mother and father of all creation. Hotep.
Wait up, real quick.
Yes,
Was
sir.
that you on Master Teacher with Erykah Badu?
Yeah, she came into into Comedics 101 when I was teaching with Queen. We had a temple in Brooklyn, the Smita, We Heal Thyself, Know Thyself Center, and she walked in there one day. I think Supernova brought her in. And I got Supernova, he's connected to a lot of folks. And he brought her in, and then she came and visited the studio. And I want to thank her for doing so much to rock the Ankh, because people were spooked out about the Ankh. Even when I began to carry this Ankh, and I was told I was the first man to carry this Ankh in public. In this size. Matter of fact, when I was on the PD, I tell people I used to carry this over my handcuff case. And when the sergeant said, "You can't carry that," I said, "Well, as long as I'm going to carry this instrument of death, the gun, I'm going to carry the symbol of life." I love the balance. And I used to use this to teach on the street corners of East New York. Okay? And that's when they saw me come and say, "Okay, here he comes, here he comes with the Africa stuff again." And that's how I used to clear the corner. You see? But the people, I believe that, and another thing I want to say to the policemen out there, when you are kind to people, they will let you live and they will cooperate with you. I know that I believe in community policing, and I believe in empowering the people by giving them the knowledge of how to avoid getting into the claws of the system, because our neighborhoods are being robbed of vital resources, because every time you get locked up, it's your mama who's got to scramble for money to pay the lawyer, to pay the bail bondsman, and it's disrespect of our mothers, it's disrespect of each other, the way we do the things that get ourselves caught up in this system. And I know the poverty is great, my brothers. And I know a lot of us are trying to make it the best way we can. But we cannot continue to take each other off because we are killing our warriors, my brothers. And your hands are getting dirty with the blood of your own brothers and sisters. And that's the worst kind of disrespect of a mother who labors for 10 moons to bring a life into this world, and here you're going to take him off because he's on your turf. What kind of turf have you got when one policeman can come and make you scatter? You don't got no turf unless you took it like them other folks did, you know. But you got turf in the motherland, but you got turf here. You have a right to be here in a mentor because you came here before Columbus, okay? And so those who were here got mixed up with those who were brought, so they all call us all the N-word. But the fact is that we have something that belongs to us here. We have labored for it. We shed blood for it. We shed tears for it. Strange fruit hanging from trees. We have paid for our presence here. So when they say go back to Africa, say we never left because Africa is in us. We call it Africa, which means the flesh and the soul of the hidden sun. Hotep.
Peace, family. This brother Rich from UGR, urging all my viewers and subscribers to help support the channel by donating just $1 to the UGR PayPal account. We appreciate the viewership and support, and we understand the power of $1. If you benefit in any way, shape, or form, we ask that you donate $1, whether it be monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, or yearly, so that we can build our brand to compete with the NBCs, the MTVs, and the Foxes of the world. I figure since Kanye could ask Mark Zuckerberg for $1 billion, I can ask my subscribers to donate $1 so I could make the best possible content possible. The main objective of this channel is to inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. So hopefully throughout the years of you watching this program, you have been inspired to become the greatest version of yourself. If you would like to donate, you could go to www.paypal.com and send a donation to richandmerit7@yahoo.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your program.
Anthem on the track.
Yeah. King shit. Yeah. Look. I'm from the city where the bums rich. Skyscrapers block the rays when the sun hits. One time coming, niggas run quick. By the time a baby walk, he got a gun grip. I was made for this. 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 I'm not a product of the cages that they raised us in. Bred to be a king, I'm not a slave to this. I was made for this. I was made for this. I was made for this.